Did you guys know that nurses are the #1 trusted, most ethical profession in the world? Yes, and we in the world, at least in the US of A, and we have been for the past, I think it's like 15 years straight, at least 10 years straight, we've been ranked #1 most ethical, most trustworthy. And it is important for healthcare providers to be trustworthy, especially in situations like this. And if you were to think of the range of what kind of healthcare provider you can be and with the trust level in which you want to have in your healthcare provider, obviously you want always to trust your provider. But when it comes to an infertility clinic, that's the kind of trust that you really need in your healthcare provider. And in this story, this situation, Dr. Donald Cline, former Dr. Donald Cline, he has ripped that trust into shreds, and this is a really bad look for fertility clinics and fertility doctors around the goddamn world. It's so scary how one person can really screw with not just one person's life, but an entire family and really families' life. Let me tell you the details of this disgusting doctor, okay? So, Dr. Donald Cline ran his fertility clinic from the 1970s to the 1980s in Indianapolis. And yes, he did IVF, he did in vitro for hundreds and maybe even thousands of women throughout that time. But the situation is, in some, and we don't even know how many, and some of those sperm donations, he did not use the anonymous sperm that these women asked for. He used his own sperm. So authorities that are investigating Dr. Cline have confirmed through DNA testing that 2 women were biological children of his through the 23andMe and this genetic testing that you can now buy from Amazon, online, wherever, right? These genetic testing tests that people were trying to sell on Mother's Day. It's nice to have so you can see where your ancestors are. Surprise, your doctor is your father. That's a crazy surprise to have. So anyways, so through 23andMe and other similar genetic testing websites, 36 half siblings of those women that Dr. Cline have taken care of have been found. And one of his biological daughters, Jacob Ballard, thinks that they could be many, many more. Ms. Ballard is now pursuing lawmakers to pass a law that would explicitly make it a crime for doctors to use their own sperm in such cases. The thing that I find to be insane is that it's not already a law. How is this not already a law, right? Like, I'm just thinking, it is a universal law that we know that if a family member were to come into a hospital, you can't take care of them as a healthcare provider. You have to let your coworkers do the job because it doesn't make any sense. So how is it? How is it not already a law that is just an unwritten rule that you don't use your own sperm as a fertility doctor for the patients that come through you? It doesn't even matter if a patient were to come in and say, I want your sperm, doctor. There should be a law saying no, absolutely not. You can't be inseminating your own sperm into some random patient that just walks in. It's just crazy to me that it's not already a law. The thing that I just don't understand is, number one, maybe the financials behind the situation of receiving some sperm and keeping it, freezing it, and then giving it to the patients, it costs $1 million, and him just using his own sperm saves him a lot of money. Maybe that's the situation, but to the death of me, I could not understand why you would go out of your way to be inseminating these random women who are asking for anonymous sperm with your own sperm. It is just insane to me. It is crazy to me. And now he's, lawyering up. Obviously, he got his license taken away, revoked in his license expired in 2017. His license has now been revoked, so he can never renew it. And now they're taking him to the court, and the justice system is going to take care of him. Hopefully, it's just nuts, right? It's just nuts. I don't understand it. Why would anyone do this? I have no idea. I have no ideas. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate this. If you guys were informed or educated in any way, shape, or form by these stories, please hit that like button. If you liked my presentation of the news, I really suggest you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time Q the Nurse drops some hot, fresh press news. Thank you. Catch you next week. Deuces.